Hey guys, it's Cal from the Lighting Doctor here. I hope you guys are going to enjoy this consultation series. We're going to give you all kinds of tips and tricks for effectively and properly lighting up your home. If you want to get your free consultation, just shoot me an email at cal@lightingdoctor.ca. Send me a few pictures and we'll give you a video presentation of what lights are going to work best with your property, or go and visit us at lightingdoctor.ca or go check out all our videos on YouTube.
Hey Eric, yeah, thanks for the pictures and stuff. Yeah, this gives me a really good idea. I mean, I think you've got all these lights placed in the right position. I don't think I would change anything there. The fact that you didn't do them under the windows, I think, is great. The only thing you may want to consider is you did mention you have some path lights and stuff. Sometimes it creates a nice balance if you've got those up lights highlighting the house, placing your path lights kind of in the middle of where those lights are. So like for example there, you might want to throw a couple in here just for a little bit of a different balance, right? Some uplighting and some downlighting. So that is one thing you could do. I think you could definitely, I love the stonework on the top of the house here. I think you could definitely benefit from adding some lights up there. A couple ways you could do it is you might just want to focus on the peaks. So you can easily do it. It's a matter of just kind of hiding the wire, usually up the east trough and into the gutter here. Just make sure whatever connections you're using are waterproof, they're gel filled. Don't use any piercing connections, especially in here, because you're probably going to make your connections in the gutter. And if you use those, almost guaranteed those lights are going to end up failing. But I would probably try and mount, and I would try and get like a wash light type thing. So when I talk about a wash light, it's something that is more like this. So it's not going to be as bright and direct as the lights you have on your pillars. It's more like this. It's a softer light. It usually has a frosted lens and it's a wider angle. And why that's going to be good is because you don't need that light to shoot super high up or in a super concentrated area like on these pillars, or for example like in between these windows. You kind of want to spread that light a little bit. So I would probably look at trying to get one to light this peak. I would probably definitely try and get one to light this peak, and then I would probably try and get one somewhere over here too to light this peak. I think focusing on those three peaks for sure would look great. The way you could mount those, and it all depends what lights you're using. I know with our lights, all the threads on them that usually screw into the ground stake, it's just a 1/2 inch thread. So usually you can just go get some kind of gutter mount or some kind of flange or whatever at Home Depot that has a 1/2 inch female thread that you can fasten to the roof, and then you just screw the light into there. So you might want to consider highlighting those peaks, possibly even with those wash lights, even having one here and here kind of under those windows. And again, it's not a super bright light, but it depends what those bedroom windows are. You may not want to have that light shining in there. I think you'll be fine on the peaks, but maybe not so much there. So that's something I would consider. And then going along the side of the house here, I think because you have such nice stonework and you've done such a good job in the front, I don't know if I do much uplighting over here. I think if anything, I might throw a couple kind of path and garden lights in this area to kind of light this. But I don't know if I would necessarily light much on the house here. I think I would probably leave it as is and leave the front of the house really as the start of the show. The one thing I will say, you did mention with the path lights, I kind of see these here. A lot of the path lights we use or recommend is they're typically not like this. We try and conceal the light source as much because especially if you've done such a good job of backlighting the house like you have, I don't necessarily love seeing the bright light as you're looking at it. So a lot of the ones we'll use will have a cap like this or like this that you can't actually see the light source. It just shines it down. And if you want those to be a little bit brighter and highlight more of the walkway, it's really going to be more dependent on the height of the light than necessarily the brightness of it. So for example, these are probably, I would say these aren't even 12-inch highlights. These are probably like 8-inch lights. If you were to look at like an 18-inch riser on a light like I suggested, like this, you wouldn't see the light source, but it would give you a lot more light shining down. And the height of that riser is going to be more it's going to determine more how much light is produced on the ground than the actual brightness of the bulb. So for example, I could have like a 5 watt lamp in there, and it's going to spread more light if this is on an 18-inch riser as if it was on a 12-inch riser. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that kind of gives you some suggestions and stuff. Let me know what you think of that, and I mean, if there's anything else I can help with, for sure, let me know. All right, thanks, Eric.
Basically two types of connections that I talk about a lot in my videos. Both are waterproof connectors that have a good mechanical seal. Mechanical seal just means they snap tight on those wires, so they're least likely to pull apart. And you'll find both of them are do-it-yourself kits. You have your BVS2 snap lock connectors, which I'll use at the fixtures, and I'll show you in a minute. And then we have our DBRY connections. So why we throw these in, and I get asked all the time, is if you need to tee off a wire somewhere. So for example, in this project, we ran all our low voltage wire with our irrigation lines, and we've left a bunch of extra wire at a few of the heads. And I have a light up there that I'm gonna have to now get a wire to. So I'm gonna tee off of this with another 12-2 wire to get it over there. And the reason we use these as opposed to these is just the ports and the connections on these connections is not quite big enough to fit all of these wires. So basically what we do is we have our excess wire here that we're just gonna cut into now. And we have our wire that's gonna go to our fixture, and now we're gonna go and tee those off. So we're gonna strip off roughly an inch of every end of those wires. And another thing to keep in mind with low voltage wire, because I get asked all the time too, is is it like stereo wire where there's like a common and a negative, and you got to keep the same wires connected throughout? And the answer is no. It doesn't matter if you connect this same wire throughout all your lights, as long as at every fixture you've got one of each of these wires now connected. That's all you need. So there is no, positive or negative or common or otherwise. It's just as long as you've got all your connections made, that's all it requires. So again, we're just stripping off roughly an inch of each of our wires to make our DBRY connections. And then with these, the way they work is there's two parts. There's a simple Moret. It's not gel filled or anything, but that's going to fit into our gel filled tube. And we're going to take one wire from each of our strands, and we're just going to twist those together. And then we're going to do the exact same with the other 3 remaining wires that we have. We're going to twist those together. Throw our Moret on them. And then once we've done that, that's where we use our waterproof gel-filled tubes. And these simply slide in. You get them right to the end, and then they just snap tight on the wire, and those wires are not going to come out of there. So you're going to make 2 of those. You're going to have your wire that came in, your wire that goes out, and then now you've teed off to your extra wire. Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed that video presentation with some great tips and tools on how to go and properly and effectively light up your landscape. And be sure, if you want your own free consultation video, just send me an email at cal@lightingdoctor.ca with a few pictures of your property, and we'll get back to you with some really cool ideas and ways to go and effectively light your property. And be sure to watch the videos after this one for more tips on how to install landscape lighting, as well as how to light up your landscape the best way possible.